Anthony Kim's spirit is unable to rest in peace as court records this week have brought his name back into the spotlight. But the reason still remains a shock to everyone. Do you care to know why Bigfoot Anthony Kim is involved in the feud between the PGA Tour and LIV Golf? Then watch this video to the last second. You'd be happy you did. The feud. The dispute between the PGA Tour and LIV Golf series has now reached Twilight Zone level bizarre, since the name of former PGA golfer Anthony Kim was revealed in court filings between the rival leagues. Inquiring minds would really like to know why. To bring everyone up to date, at the moment, the PGA Tour and LIV Golf are suing one another back and forth. As part of their antitrust lawsuit, LIV Golf requested a list of anybody, officials, players, sponsors, and broadcasters, who spoke with the PGA about the breakaway league in the previous 3 years. The name of Anthony Kim stands out the most on the 71-person list that the PGA supplied because, well, he hasn't played in years. Since riding off into the sunset with an allegedly 8-figure insurance policy in May of 2012, Kim, who's now in his 30s, hasn't played golf professionally since. In 2015, Kim made one of his very few media appearances and described his career as a professional golfer as a pleasant memory. He is now an enigmatic and difficult-to-find character who periodically appears in captionless social media postings feeding conspiracy ideas among the larger golf fandom. So how exactly did the Bigfoot of golf find his way onto the list in the most publicized conflict in contemporary golf? The presence of Kim on the list does not imply that the tour has specifically brought up LIV with Kim or that he's been offered an offer to play for LIV, as stated in the story. Although there were undoubtedly some speculations that LIV Golf had contacted him earlier this year. However, the ranking seems to imply that they are the most essential or most relevant players to the issue at hand, according to the report. What qualifies Kim as one of the most significant or relevant people? It could imply that LIV Golf did get in touch with him about joining their league that receives funding from Saudi Arabia. It may also imply that another member of the tour is in touch with him and has spoken to him about LIV Golf. However, unless additional information is revealed, we really can't determine how Kim is connected to the situation since he hasn't been active in the world of professional golf in 10 years. There's no denying how intriguing it is that Kim is one of the golfers named in this complaint. To find out what the true link between the former pro and LIV Golf is, we'll have to keep an eye on the situation. What status is the case in? The PGA Tour and LIV Golf are involved in what are really two cases together. The original antitrust case, which dates to August 3, 2022, is being brought by LIV and the 3 surviving plaintiff players. There were formerly 11 golfers. On September 28th, the PGA Tour filed a countersuit against LIV. In recent weeks, attorneys from both sides have been actively meeting to determine the parameters of discovery, a phase of any litigation during which parties reveal information in an effort to substantiate or refute the many claims made against them. Recall that the LIV golfers' original complaint, which they submitted in early August, was well over 100 pages long and included thousands of claims. The main topic of discussion at the moment is who has had the authority to speak for the PGA Tour during the last 3 years. Any communications made after September 1, 2019 must be included in the discovery process, according to the decision made by interim judge Susan Van Keulen over these proceedings. The LIV Golf, the Premier Golf League, the Super Golf League, the Saudi Golf League, and the Public Investment Fund of Saudi Arabia's involvement in golf are all potential topics of discussion since they have all developed throughout the course of that period as the concept of LIV has. Understandably, the tour has made an effort to narrow the field of possible spokespersons. For starters, the discussion has raged at PGA Tour press conferences, PGA Tour practice areas, podcasts, conventional media outlets, social media, and traditional media. In light of this, the tour made it clear that its 250 members are totally independent contractors and not permitted to speak on the tour's behalf. Instead, the tour has been reviewing hundreds of pages of recorded conversations, but has only designated 31 persons who may testify on its behalf, all of whom are past or present workers. The tour has generated more than 32,000 pages as of October 21st. On Monday, a hearing will be held in person in San Jose, California. The tour will probably want to have the action dismissed, and the tentative date for summary judgment in the original antitrust complaint in the San Jose court is scheduled for July 23, 2023. The trial is scheduled to start on January 8, 2024. PGA LIV feud to run out of control for a long time. The conflict between the PGA Tour and LIV Golf Series, according to #1 in the world Rory McIlroy, is out of control and threatens to splinter the sport for a very long time. In an interview, McIlroy stated the tone of the game was us versus them and predicted that the feud's escalation would be irreparable. Some of the PGA Tour's best players have been tempted away by the Saudi-backed LIV Series with significant amounts of money, while others who joined the competing circuit have been suspended by the American-based organization. Currently, LIV has launched a lawsuit alleging antitrust breaches on the part of the PGA Tour, and the PGA Tour has responded with a counterclaim. This us versus them mentality has already gone beyond its bounds, according to McIlroy. It will only become worse if the two entities keep pushing forward in opposite ways. For a very long time, our sport will be shattered. That is bad for everyone. Many of McIlroy's former Ryder Cup colleagues, such as Sergio Garcia, Lee Westwood, and Ian Poulter, have joined the circuit. It's unknown whether they will be permitted to compete in the competition the following year. Following his entry into the Saudi-sponsored series, Henrik Stenson lost his position as captain of Team Europe. McIlroy said, "I believe that this is the first time in my life that I felt betrayed in a sense. Ryder Cups and other events let you form ties with these folks. They are aware that what they are about to do will prevent them from ever taking part in it again. I'd like to assume that they value the Ryder Cup just as much as I do. Perhaps it does, but I just could not make the choice given the potential repercussions. Players should have attempted to work out their problems with the traditional tour before transferring to LIV, according to McIlroy. He said, "I feel like they've basically left behind the location where they have been able to develop their heritage and grow their brand. If people were so upset about some things, I'd rather attempt to alter them from inside the walls than try to disturb things outside." More drama. There's still a lot of buzz about Greg Norman's LIV Series since its inception. The PGA Tour's FedEx Cup playoffs are being intentionally avoided by the LIV Golf Invitational Series. This is done with evident intention of allowing individuals who signed up for the contentious new endeavor to potentially participate in these events. When PGA Tour Chief Jay Monahan handed out extended bans to players who participated in LIV competitions, it was certain that doing both would not be permitted. Then, what was probably inevitable happened a few weeks ago when 11 LIV Golf players sued the PGA Tour for anti-competitive behavior. 3 of them, Taylor Gooch, Hudson Swafford, and Matt Jones, were specifically asked for a temporary restraining order to allow them to compete in the FedEx Cup playoffs because they'd already qualified based on prior performance. So much for a truce in the spat between the PGA Tour and LIV Golf. With the decision being anticipated, the FedEx St. Jude Invitational will go on to host the first playoff tournament. Many PGA Tour athletes have spoken out against the LIV 11, evidently upset that they are being sued by their fellow competitors while being tour members. They have a strong belief that if LIV was the decision made by those who departed, they should follow it and avoid trying to eat their cake and have it too, as has become the cliche. Billy Horschel remarked at the Wyndham Championship, "Their vision is cherry-picking what events they want to play on the PGA Tour. Of course, they would be the competitions with better global rankings and larger prize pools. It's annoying. They decide to go, thus they need to follow their boss. I'm aware that some males are far more upset and outraged about it than I am. What they're doing over there is damaging to our tour," said Will Zalatoris. "You cannot have it all. If they're permitted to do both, a lot of males will be very upset." There's a fair possibility that the 3 athletes who are requesting permission to participate in this week's games under a temporary injunction will get their wish. If it does, the PGA Tour will probably decide to increase the field size to 128 players. The feud between PGA Tour and LIV Golf is still unfolding, and if you care about it as much as I do, then stay tuned for more and more info that be coming your way from us.